All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night team call. I am Natalie Schauer. I'm a Senior Ruby Ambassador.
Hi, I'm Kristen Barkley, and I am a Ruby Ambassador.
Y'all, we're super excited to talk to you guys tonight. We were excited that we got to share together because we have some things that we've really walked through together and have been able to experience together. And one thing that we really wanted to hone in and focus on is really just our journeys, and not in like a chronological, like come with us and experience our journey, but we just really wanted to talk about the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs. Y'all, we have seen, I think, every, oh, hold on, I'm going to switch the view on that. We have seen every season of this business, I think, y'all. We have been in massive momentum. We have been in very slow seasons. We've been in seasons of watching our points skyrocket. We've been in seasons of watching those points go way back down. We've seen a lot of stuff in our over the years in our journeys doing this. So I've been doing this for almost 3 years in July. And then Kristen started in November just after me. So she'll be hitting her 3 years in November. And we've lived a lot of plexus life.
We have.
So I wanted Kristen to go through and kind of talk about her experience. Here's the thing about this business that we've learned. This business is hard. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that on this call? Like, this business is not easy, okay? This takes a lot of digging your heels in, making the decision to be successful and pouring everything into it. Really making the decision that you are going to be successful and seeing that through. Those are two different concepts, by the way. So making the decision and seeing it through. And here's the thing, it's not so much a linear, like a mountain climb thing, right? That's not how this works. And you finally get to the top and you're like, yeah, I've hit the top, I've done it, I've made it. It's farming, right? It's farming, it's planting. And honestly, there's seasons all the time and the seasons change. So it's it's a planting season, and then it's having to feed those plants and water those plants and love and nurture those plants. And then it's the harvest season. And then honestly, that harvest season is awesome. It feels so good when it's harvest season, but guess what? Another season of seeding and planting is coming back around. Okay. So it's never a place where you've just made it and you're done. Okay. There are some people I could say that they could probably be done if they wanted to, but we're talking about the Celestes and the Fallons and all those people, but honestly, they're still working because there's so much joy to be found in this business and in this industry, y'all. It really is so rewarding and it's so worth it. So I just wanted Kristen to kind of talk about some things in her experience and some things that she's kind of come from, and we'll wrap it up with some tactical things towards the end.
Yes. So basically the purpose of this call is we really want to kind of share our, some tidbits, some little nuggets that we have learned in our journey, and how to really recognize detrimental mindsets and emotions and behaviors, and then how to flip the script on that so that you can maintain perspective and joy through your journey, and grace even in your growth and your growing season. That's what we titled this, Grace and Growth. But we're also going to touch on, having joy kind of in the journey too of the slow seasons as well. So I know I can speak to this, and I think probably a lot of you can also relate that people in this business a lot of times tend to have perfectionist tendencies, right? Or even if it's not perfectionist, it's at least like an achiever, overachiever. We have big goals, we have big things that we're shooting for. And so it's very easy when you're not maybe reaching those goals as fast as you had hoped, or as, the way you had planned to do it, to kind of get into some negative mindsets. And get some negative emotions throughout that journey. Like Natalie was saying, this is hard. This business is hard. Even though it's simple, it's not always easy. And so much of it comes down to our mindset and our attitude and how that affects our behaviors. And so some of the things you might have already experienced if you've been doing this business for a little while, or even if you're just beginning, you may, feel like you're in kind of like a pressure cooker, like, especially if you are a perfectionist or you do have those overachiever tendencies, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform. And so that can lead to these feelings of maybe sometimes disappointment. You maybe even have felt some shame at times when you're not reaching goals fast enough, or if somebody else has reached a goal before you, or you may even, if it gets really bad, you could find yourself stuck in self-pity. in bitterness and even let that kind of consume you. And here's the deal, even when that's kind of all kind of in slower, I feel like seasons, you might find yourself feeling those emotions. And sometimes even in momentum, you would think it's not always rainbows and butterflies and momentum too. There's going to be, some negative emotions that you experience then. Lots of lessons to be learned. You're going to have, you might have feelings of overwhelm and burnout. And so we just kind of want to look at all of these and how we can flip the script in any of the seasons of your business. So the very first thing, our first tip would be to practice gratitude. I know we hear this a lot, but it is so true. If we, like, the very first thing that we can do to change our attitude is to really start focusing and being grateful for the things that are going well in our life, for the things that God has blessed us with. So, it may look a little different when you're in a slow season versus whenever you're in a season of momentum, but what can we focus on that is good? We can focus on the things that you do well, maybe the team that you currently have. I think we get a lot of times so wrapped up in like growing and wanting to, reach more and more people that sometimes we forget and to stop and be grateful about the team that we have that, God has blessed us with. And even if you don't have a team yet, you have things to be thankful for. Are you having conversations? Have you been able to, build new relationships? Your team will come, but finding gratitude in your journey is how you flip the script from the very beginning. And then after that, I think one thing that you need to do to be intentional about, and it seems very basic, is to recognize when you're having negative emotions or whenever you're in a negative mindset. So being able to recognize it and then stop it in its tracks and change the narrative, right? So you want to be able to basically replace those thoughts with thoughts that are positive, with the great, the gratitude that we talked about. And then another thing to do to flip the script when you're in a negative space is to really lean into your sponsor. I know that you should be doing that at all times, but I think a lot of times whenever we feel maybe less than, when we're playing the comparison game, or, we're getting into like a negative funk, sometimes we tend to isolate ourselves. And that's actually the opposite of what we should be doing. We should be leaning into our uplines, leaning into the people that have different perspective than us, so that they can help us to see the perspective. They can call out the good things that we're doing. They can help us, to change things up. That's their job, is to coach you. So leaning into I know I've hit some seasons where it was really, really difficult. And I know that Natalie and Emily and Jamie, they were key in helping me get out of that. And then the biggest thing that we can do to flip the script and to get out of negative emotions, we have to take action. So what does that look like? It's going to look different in those different seasons. There's different, steps we can take. But we have to take action. We have to get moving. That is the way that we can get out of the negativity. So number one, take action in your personal growth. Really lean into personal growth. In a slow season, you got time on your hands. Dig into that personal growth. And momentum, don't forget about it. You got to make sure that you're digging into that personal growth. You need to make sure you're feeding yourself so that you can add value. That's one thing that we're supposed to be doing, right? In our, in our posts, and when we're talking to people, we want to be able to add value. Well, if we're not feeding ourselves and growing in leadership development, or growing, even if it's spiritually or however, whatever your personal growth looks like, you have to be intentional about it, no matter where you are in your journey.
Yeah. That being said, do not get stuck into a consumer mentality when you are leaning into personal growth. Okay. So I've done this in the past. I've had team members do this in the past, and I can recognize it a mile away is when I'm just really working on my personal growth right now. Okay. Well, does that mean you're just watching 10 YouTube videos a day and you're not taking action on those personal growth videos? Because here's the thing, unless you're actually taking action on the things that they're suggesting or encouraging you to do, all you're doing is watching other people be successful in front of you, and you're not doing anything to change anything. Okay. You have to put action behind your personal growth. Personal growth is an action, right? So the only way we can have growth is through action. So personal growth, sure, it's great. And watching stuff and listening to podcasts and all that is wonderful. But if you're not putting action behind it, it's not going to get you anywhere. So I would challenge you, when you are leaning into personal growth, every time you listen to a podcast or every time you, watch a video or whatever, write down at least one, but like 2 to 3 things that you can take away from that you're going to start putting into action right away. I remember, I think it was Fallon that said she, when she reads a book, she doesn't pick up the next one until she's identified 5 things that she can put into action from that book. And then when she reads it again later on, she identifies 5 more things. So make sure that whatever you're doing personal growth wise is growth and you're putting action behind it.
Yep. I think that reminds me of like the verse. It's like faith without works is dead. Like what is personal growth to you if you're not actually implementing it and using it to propel your business forward and propel your life forward? So I love that you mentioned that. Another thing we can do under taking action, stop the scroll, y'all. That is a trap. We need to make sure that we are intentional with our scrolling. If you need to use a timer, use a timer. We are using that to connect with people, to, further our relationships, to prospect, but it is very easy to fall into the trap of just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling for inspiration. Guys, it's not going to inspire you. If anything, you start playing the comparison game, it stifles my creativity after a while, because I'm like, well, they did that was good, they did that, ooh, should I have done that, should I do that? Like, just don't do it. The scroll is a dangerous trap. And with that in mind, like, create versus consume. Okay. She talked about the consumer mindset. Same with personal growth. You've got personal growth. You don't want to just sit there and consume. Same thing with scrolling. If all you're doing is consuming and you're never creating, you're not moving your business forward. You're not moving forward. So make sure that you are using your time to create and doing more creating than you are consuming. In other words, making more posts, making more reels, making more content that's going to add value to your audience. Don't get stuck in the, just scrolling and consuming. So that's going to look a little different based on where you are and what season you are in. If you're in a slow season, what does that mean? What do you do? Well, you need to 10 times, so 10x your IPA. I know we read that book a couple months ago. You have time on your hands, right? You're in a slower season. Things are not moving. The only thing you have control over is your own action. If you're in a slow season, that means that you don't have a lot of team maybe moving with you. You don't have a lot of people that are, answering your, prospects, answering your messages, so, that you're not getting those joins. Well, what can you do? You can control how much effort you're putting behind it. So 10x your IPA. You can get a little more creative during this time. You may be able to do several reels or, some more eloquent, I should say, not elegant, but eloquent type posts where you put a lot more thought in behind it, because you have time. So you can get creative with your content. Now, in a season of momentum, it's going to be different, right? For me, I know personally, because I am such a, overachiever perfectionist, I have sometimes struggle in momentum because I don't give myself grace. I know that I've done, 10x, IPA for months and months and months. And all of a sudden I'm in momentum and I'm having to react to a lot more things. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't get 20 messages out today or whatever. I haven't, not that I do that all the time, but there's seasons where I'm getting lots of messages out in 1 week. And then in a season of momentum, I'm feeling bad about myself because I didn't get enough, the same amount of messages that I got out whenever I was in a slow season. Well, recognize you're in a season of momentum. So your IPA is going to look a little different. That being said, make sure you're doing your IPA. There's also other personality types or other people that may just totally miss their IPA and because now they're reacting and they're in management mode. So have grace with yourself when you're in momentum. Nobody can do all the things perfectly all the time, except maybe Christina Williams. I'm just kidding. No, really. That girl is a beast. Right. She is amazing. I'm watching her every day. She's getting present in her stories, and then she gets her post up, and then she gets this up. And so it's so awesome to watch. You got to know though, that she has had seasons where she was, growing and learning and developing, and she didn't just all of a sudden become amazing at everything, right? She is amazing, but it's been a process to get to that point. And I think we need to remind ourselves of that. We can't compare our, I think they just said this in the call before, our chapter 20 or our chapter 2 to her chapter 20, right? So nobody can do everything perfectly all the time. There's always a growth process, and we'll get better at it as you move forward and do your, get better at this business. So make sure that you're taking action, you're getting your non-negotiables. That's something that you want to, write down and make sure you're getting your non-negotiables done, whether you're in a season of growth or you're in a slow season. So you want to make sure that those non-negotiables get done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that. And like she said, with momentum, you want to be careful that you're not slipping into management mode. And we talk about that a lot, but it's because it's so easy to do. In management mode, I think a lot of people think that management mode is the mindset of like, oh, I've got this team, I'm just going to sit back and let them do things for me. And none of us think that we're in management mode. But what management mode actually is when everyone's coming at you and now you're just trying to help your team, and you're trying, and it's out of good heart. It's out of wanting to help them grow and wanting to, you don't think of yourself as like micromanaging, but that is what management mode is when you are so pouring so much of yourself into your team that you're not investing in yourself and making sure that your business is taken care of and that your IPA is done and that your posts are going up and that you are being fed and that you are being inspired. Okay. So that's the difference between, what we think of management mode looks like and what it actually looks like. It all comes from a good place. It all comes from a good heart, but be very careful that you're not slipping into that. So I wanted to give you 3 principles, kind of tactical, how to take action, like some, what do we say? It was like 3 principles on like flipping the script and really just putting what we're talking about into motion. Okay. So first one is, oh no, I want to talk about this first. So the one thing I wanted to mention really quick is when we are, when we are in momentum, it's very important, because I was talking about management mode, it's very important to start making lists about what your order of work looks like, okay? And start prioritizing what that looks like. Here's the reason. When I was in massive momentum for my first time, it freaked me out, okay, y'all, because I'd put my phone next to me to go to bed and I finally did my last message. I'm like, y'all, I'm sorry, I'm going to bed. Like, I've got to put this down. I will catch up with you in the morning. And then I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up and I'd be like, messages. And I'd grab my phone and look, and I've got 25 messages. And now I'm answering messages. And now before my feet have even hit the floor, I'm already working. I'm working all day. I haven't taken a break. And now I'm in reactionary mode because everybody needs me right this second, right? First of all, it's not true. There are 0 emergencies in network marketing. Okay. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they saw that I saw it, I have to answer them right now. Can we all just agree that just because your sponsor has seen your message doesn't mean they have that second to get right back to you? Okay. We can all agree on that, right? We see things while we're,
got our hands full,
reading
cooking dinner.
Yeah. Cooking dinner, whatever. And we're like, okay, I need to get back to that. But now you feel like, oh, they saw that I saw it. So now I got to release yourself from that. You don't need that. Like, that's more on other people than it is on you. Okay. Does not matter. But order of work is so important, whether you are in a slow season or momentum season. Here's what it looks like maybe in both. In a slow season, it might look something like, okay, you know what? I'm having a hard time being inspired because I'm not getting a bunch of wins right now. Okay. Recognizing that's okay. I'm not getting a bunch of wins right now, what we call wins, joins or whatever. And so I'm having a really hard time being creative and being motivated. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to lean into personal growth because I need to get motivated. I need to be encouraged and I need to be inspired. Okay. Lean into something that's really going to inspire you and get you moving. Okay. Do that first. It's like, doing warm-ups when you're exercising, like do that first so that you're getting your creativity flowing. And then what I like to do, maybe yours looks a little bit different, but for me, what I like to do right after that is do my post, because now I'm inspired. Now I'm on fire. Now I'm excited. And so I'm going to get my post out there. I'm not scrolling. I'm not getting on Facebook and looking at what other people are doing. I'm not even doing that. I'm literally opening Facebook, going right to my post. I'm not looking at what anyone else is doing because I don't want to be swayed or whatever by what they're saying. I know what God has given me, or, what I've heard from others or what I've been inspired, whatever to say. So I want to just get on there and say that and be inspired and get that done. Okay. So now my post is done. The next thing I'm going to do my reach outs next. Okay. And the reason I'm going to do my reach outs next is because nothing has happened to me yet today, right? Nothing's happened on my team that I know of. Nobody has had a chance to say anything negative or whatever. So here's the thing is I'm going to go right into my reach outs because I'm still inspired and I'm still excited and I'm still motivated, and that's going to come through in my messages. So I get my reach outs done. Guess what? I am not answering or looking at these reach outs until I am finished with them. And then until I'm also finished with my follow-ups. Don't even look at them. Do your reach outs, Do your follow-ups. Then once you're done with all of that, you've now completed your IPA. Congratulations. You've done personal growth, your posts, and your reach outs and follow-ups. Now you can go back through and start reading and answering. And then once you've done that, then you can start going into digging into your back office and looking at your team stuff or whatever. Okay. Because we all know it all happens on the same day, right?
Mhm.
Like you go into your back office and 3 people have shut off and this person's having a problem. That person never got their shipment. This person needs you to call customer service. It all happens on the same day. I don't know how they all plan it, but they all plan it for the same day. And so your day could get shot down really quickly. Okay. And all of a sudden you're in reactionary mode. So get all of that stuff done first. So that way, if you hit that day, it's fine. You can handle it because all your stuff is done. You don't need to inspire anybody right this second. You just need to have good customer service. And then when you're done, put it to bed. Okay. Momentum, same thing. The reason I get personal growth done first is because, again, I just need to be inspired and encouraged because I am overwhelmed sometimes. Okay. So I'm feeling all these feelings. And so I'm going to lean into some personal growth so that I can get that done, get my posts done, so it's the same order essentially, but for different reasons. The reasons now that I'm getting my posts and my IPA done first is because we have a rule: pay yourself first, right? Pay yourself first before you start digging into your team. So make sure you're getting all of that work done right away. And then now you can start digging into helping your team hitting their goals and doing their thing. Okay. So pay yourself first always when you are, in any season, but especially when you're in momentum, because it's really easy to get lost into helping your team. And next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night. You haven't put up a post. You've not reached out to anybody. And now you're either scrambling to get it done or now you're disappointed in yourself that you didn't get it done. Okay. So always do that first.
I love that you've said that. And I'm definitely working on doing that myself, because not only are you got it done and it's done and over with and you can check it off your list, but guys, when you're whatever you're feeling is going to come through in your messaging, in your posting, right? So if you can get up, be inspired, you haven't had any negativity in your space, right? If you're being intentional about not getting into your messages until later, and you're basically feeding yourself first. I like to do my quiet time. Then I'm going to do my personal growth, like all of that is going to inspire you and build you up. And then you're able to outpour from that. And I'm telling you, when you have negative emotions and you have negative feelings about your business, whether it's because it is a crazy day and everybody's shutting off or whatever, it comes through in your post. So, it comes through in your messages. Are you coming from a place of disappointment and coming from a place of desperation, of, distraction, of, discontentment? Or are you coming in with positivity? Are you coming in confident and assertive and, basically coming in with the heart to serve others, versus being just reactionary all the time?
Exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing: you want to run your day. You don't want your day to run you. Okay. So one thing that I've had to do personally is I start putting my phone in my bathroom. I've talked about this with a couple of y'all before. And yes, you know what? I'm one of those old fashioned people now, and I ordered an alarm clock off Amazon, and it's just a meep, meep, meep alarm clock that's next to my bed. So that way I can get up with my kids, and my phone at a certain time every night, it goes into my bathroom. I can still hear it if there's an emergency or anything else, but it's not close enough to where, and it's on do not disturb, whatever. I'm not answering messages. I'm not doing any of that. And when I wake up in the morning to my alarm clock, because I live in the Flintstone age, when I wake up in the morning to my alarm clock, I'm getting up and I'm going out. I'm getting my kids ready. I'm loving on my kids. I'm spending that time with them. I'm getting them ready for school, getting them off to school, getting my babies up, getting them ready, getting myself a healthy breakfast, getting a workout in, or whatever I need to do to take care of myself. And then I go and I grab my phone and I start my work day. Okay. Where otherwise you can get up in the morning and you see messages and you feel the need, even if you're not answering them, you can feel the pressure to get in there and answer them. And it just throws off your whole day. So you're not going to usually get a hold of me first thing in the morning because my phone is in the bathroom, or after a certain time at night. By the way, I'm getting way better sleep doing it that way. And here's the other thing with the slow seasons. Slow seasons are a really good time to prepare for momentum. Okay. So here's the thing is, Emily can attest to that. Yeah. You can't get a hold of me.
You can't get a hold of her now. It's great. And I need to be better about that.
Yeah.
Because she's getting much better sleep than me.
I'm getting really good sleep.
Yeah, you are.
So here's the thing is, prepare for momentum when you're in those slow seasons too. Okay. Momentum honestly isn't the time to start. And I say, okay, A lot of you are hitting momentum really early and quick on in your businesses. And I get that you have to learn a lot of things. That's fine. I'm going to say though that momentum's not the time to decide that you want to start putting together resources and maybe start building some systems and things like that. Like when you're in a slow season, start building those systems, then start digging into resources, then start building and planning out what your processes look like. Start digging into your back office and learning your back office. Like those slow seasons, those desert seasons, or whatever we like to call them, those are really good opportunities for you to create systems, because guess what? As long as you are doing this IPA and you are digging in every single day, that momentum is going to hit. I promise you, whether it's in 2 weeks, 2 months, or 6 months, that momentum is going to hit.
See the fruit.
Yes. And when it does, you want to be prepared and you want to have a system in place so that you are able to get people onboarded in a smooth process. And this doesn't even phase you. And people are just so happy about your amazing customer service. So that's another thing that you can practice as well. Okay, so now I'm going to do 3 mindset shifts that will help you flip the script and have grace and growth. And I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to go through these pretty quick. I know I talk fast and y'all say you talk too fast, but good thing it's recorded. Anyways, so 3 things, and it's going to sound like these things don't really go, but I promise they do. Okay. So, and they're beliefs, really, they're built around belief. So the first thing is that you need to switch is to change the way that you think about your life. Okay. What does that look like? So think like, if you feel like your life is full of chaos and full of, pressure and overwhelm, and you don't have time, and you're just like, so, heavy on all that's what your life is going to be if that's your idea on your life. Okay. But if you can switch your perspective a little bit and start viewing your life in a different light, that's going to be very helpful for you. Identify things in your life that you can control to help make your life a little bit more manageable. Okay. So one is, we've talked about non-negotiables. Okay. So if there's non-negotiables, there's negotiables, right? Eliminate the negotiables that are not serving you in the season. Okay. So make sure that if there is something that can be removed, whether it's an extracurricular, whether it's a chore around your house that maybe you're adamant about that not everybody really cares, whatever, like washing your curtains every week. Okay. Not everyone needs their curtains washed like there's some things that you can manage that you don't have to do every week, if it's a relationship, I hate to say that, but sometimes there's relationships that aren't serving you, that are just so full of negativity. And so you just need to find ways to eliminate those negotiables, eliminate the things that aren't serving you, might be toxic. Okay. To eliminate a lot of that stress in your life. Okay. So make sure that you're really paying attention to what those things are, so that you're not they're not taking up space. Emily had shared a podcast with us a couple weeks ago, and man, it really rocked me. And I said I was going to find Emily can drop it in here. I forgot what it was, but anyways, yeah. But basically he was talking about, and it was so good. He was talking about, what is your familiar emotion, and like what emotion do you gravitate towards, like what feeling do you gravitate towards? And a lot of times it's a negative emotion. So like for me, he really just dialed my number, because he was like, there's some people that say I thrive in chaos, and I work best under pressure, and that's totally me. I say that I do that, but here's the thing is that's not sustainable. It's not healthy, and it's not good for growth. But here's the thing, chaos is a familiar, pressure, chaos, whatever, is a familiar emotion for me, because I grew up in chaos, and not bad chaos. It's just, we were always, hosting people, or we had sleepovers, and we had a daycare, and we just had a lot going on all the time. And so for me, chaos is a familiar, comfortable feeling. And so I, sitting here being like, man, I thrive in chaos, but then being upset that I'm not getting peace in my life. And yet I'm finding myself creating chaos because it helps me to feel familiar and comfortable. Y'all, that's something you need to identify, is like, what emotion do you want to feel in your life? Okay. Is it peace? Is it joy? And then identify the emotions that you are stirring up, and the thoughts and the process, the feelings that you're stirring up yourself, and work to eliminate those things. Okay. The other thing on changing the way you think about your life is time blocking and making lists. I know a lot of us, a huge excuse, and I hate to use the word excuse because it's valid, is I don't feel like I have time and I'm overwhelmed and there's so many things going on and whatever. Okay, time blocking has been a game changer for most people that I have helped them implement it. Okay, so basically what this looks like is take your non-negotiables, fill them in. So on Mondays, I know, okay, Monday morning from 7 to 8, I'm getting my girls off to school. So that block is full, and write it hour by hour. And then I know from 2:30 to 3, I got to pick them up from school. And then from, I don't know, whatever your schedule looks like, from 8 to 9, I've got team calls. So that's a non-negotiable, and just fill in all the spots that are non-negotiable to you. And then once you do that, I think you'll go in and find that you actually have a lot more time than you think you do. And even start scheduling in your chores in there. This is where making lists comes into play. Okay. So once you've done your time blocking for your non-negotiables, start looking, go through and meal plan for the week. Okay, meal plan for the week. And okay, on Monday nights, I know that I only have an hour for dinner, so I need something that's quick and easy. And then on Tuesday nights, I've got more time, so I can, do a little bit more exciting dinner that night, and plan your meals accordingly through that week. And then go through and put chores together through the week. And I know this sounds like a Pinterest, like, oh gosh, only the Pinterest people can do that because they're so organized. No, you know what? It keeps people organized. It just takes a little bit of front loading on the front end.
It takes discipline,
honestly. Takes discipline.
And I love that this is all underneath, change the way you think about your life. Your life is chaotic because you think it's chaotic.
Right.
No, your life can be, more organized and more structured. And you can, if you're thinking, I have time in my day, that's because you have a mindset shift that allows you to basically, flip the script, and you'll find that time that you're talking about with the time blocking.
Yeah. We all have the same 24 hours. And I know I've got 24 hours, but I could easily be like, but I've got 4 kids. Ain't nobody else know about my 4 kids. But then Emily could be going, well, I've got a full-time job, y'all. Like, ain't nobody else know about my full-time. Like, we've all got something that we can say is a reason why we can't do this, but we all have the same 24 hours. We all have a lot of the same things. We all are busy. So time blocking is really going to be a game changer for you. And if you don't know what that looks like, or you don't know how to do it, just get with your sponsor. I'm sure they've heard about it, or they've seen it, or they will help you find the resources to dig into.
There were a lot of really, really good tips in that series that they did in February, all on focus, talking about brain dumping and, time blocking, and there was tons of I got a lot out of that. So if you didn't watch those, go back and watch those for sure.
Exactly. So change the way you think about your life. That's eliminating the negotiables, and time blocking and making lists, just planning and being organized ahead of time. The next one is change the way that you think about yourself. So what this looks like, guys, it's affirmations. Okay. And I know affirmations, I think some people confuse affirmations sometimes, because I'll have, my team write down, okay, I want you to write down 5 to 10 affirmations about yourself, like write down those affirmations. And then I tell them, I want you to write them, and I want you to say them, write them out, send them to me, and then voice clip them to me, because I want to hear your words. Okay. There's power in your words. That's biblical. That's a biblical principle. There is power in your words. It shifts everything in the environment. It shifts the atmosphere, shifts the spiritual, and all of a sudden, your brain's going to work for you to make sure that this happens. Okay. But the difference between affirmations and what I see some other people do is they'll say, okay, well, I'm very organized and I'm proud of myself because I'm a good wife and I can keep things clean. And it's like, okay, those are great things to be proud of yourself for. Okay. What's a little bit different is when we're talking about affirmations, I want you to call out your potential and what is buried deep in there that you don't feel like you are capable of yet, but that you want to reach. Okay. So one easy way I tell people is, I want you to picture yourself right now. You've made diamond. Okay. You're a diamond. You're like the top of the company. We don't know how this happened, but you were number 1 in the entire company this year. Okay. And you were at convention and they asked you to share about you and your business and how you can inspire and lead people. And you get up there and you nail that speech, right? You get up there and you are a professional, powerful businesswoman. Okay. I want you to look at that girl and write down 10 things that you love and admire about her, and then start calling those things out on yourself every single day. Those are affirmations. Those are strong affirmations that's going to change things and make a difference. Okay. So don't just list the things that you're proud of yourself for. List the things that you want to see called out, and start making that go to work for you. Okay. So those are affirmations. Identifying your strengths. Okay. I've heard a lot of people talk about, like, really work on your weaknesses. And, like, there's places where You can, really start working and building you can work on, guys, I'm going to challenge you. Don't spend a ton of time working on your weaknesses. Okay. They'll grow with growing your strengths. But y'all, if you have strengths and then you have weaknesses and you work on growing your weaknesses, you're still just mediocre. But if you've got strengths and you've got weaknesses and you really start working and sharpening those strengths, now you are a powerful weapon. Okay. You are someone to be rivaled. So y'all, listen, work on those strengths, sharpen those strengths, and operate out of what you know you're good at. By the way, there's way more joy in this than there is in this. Okay. So identify what your strengths are and really work on sharpening those. And then leaning into personal growth. And I say this because a lot of us doubt our own leadership and things like that. Guess what? A lot of this stuff is learned. A lot of it is learned. A lot of it you've had to develop. There's skills, things like that. So just lean into that personal growth. If you're not feeling confident in yourself, start making changes, start leaning into things and start fixing some of those things and sharpening those skills. Sorry, I'm going to hurry. And the last one is to change the way that you think about failure. Okay. Failure is not, it is not your enemy. Okay. It is not something to be avoided. You have to switch the way that you are thinking about failure. Here's the thing. When you're failing, remember when we talked about those strengths, when you feel like you're failing, start listing your strengths. Okay. When you're feeling like a failure and you're like, we talked about that day that everything's coming at you all at once. And it's like, am I even cut out for this? Okay. You have to start listing those strengths. Okay. And just start really putting some things into action. I found this actually in my book from the other day, and this isn't even in my notes, but the cure for fear / feeling like a failure is activity. So digging into activity, if you're feeling like you're failing, start digging into activity, go back to the basics that we talked about in the beginning of the call, dig into some activity. The other thing is go for 3 no's a day. And this is something that has been super, I think, big for our team. We've been really pushing go for 3 no's a day. And here's the reason I love that is, one, if you're going for 3 no's a day, you're doing a lot of IPA, right? We all know that if you're getting 3 no's, getting 3 people to say no to, you're doing a good amount of IPA. Okay. So go for 3 no's every single day. Do that IPA until you hit 3 no's. And the cool thing about that is now it's switching your mindset to where a no isn't exactly like the worst thing ever. And it's not the end of the world and it's a huge failure. It's like, cool, I'm going for 3 no's a day. Thanks for being number 1 and moving on, whatever. And it kind of starts to shift that so that there's not such a negative connotation and such a personal attack for someone saying no.
Tell them the bridal dress analogy.
Yeah. So I love
this is all from corporate, by the way, not all of it, but the 3 no's a day.
The 3 no's a day
came from, I believe, Gold School.
Yeah. So they were talking about, if you've got a wedding dress and you're wedding dress shopping, you're not going to stop at every wedding dress. And okay, so this wedding dress, it could be my wedding dress if I fix this and if I added this and if it was shaped a little bit differently and blah, 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 like it could be my dress. And then this dress, it could be my dress no, that's not how we shop. We get on the rack and we go, nope, 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 nope. Ooh, I like this one. I'm going to try that one on. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. That's how you shop for your perfect wedding dress. Okay. And honestly, IPA is kind of the same thing. So this is just as much you figuring out if they're a good fit for you as figuring out if you're a good fit for them. So when you are really digging into going for 3 no's a day and they say, no, that's great. Then we're not a good fit right now. Honestly, if you're just not in a place to join me right now, then cool. We'll circle this back again later. But for right now, thank you for being my second no for today. Yep. Moving on.
That's been such a good mindset shift for me, and coming in with a much more confident posture in my messages is you're looking to see if this person is a good fit just as much as they are looking to see if this is a good fit for them, right? You're trying to see if they're a good fit for your team. That's changing the way you think about failure. That's not a failure. A no, I want to know. Then I have more information now. You've given me a no. I know that this is not something that you're interested in for today. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I'd much rather have a no than a ghost.
Yeah.
Silence.
At least I know.
Now I have information. Okay, it's a no. And sometimes it's no, not right now. They'll literally say, no, that's not something I want to look into right now. And now I know the door's open. I've got more information. You're gathering more information with every no.
Exactly. So go for 3 no's a day. And listen, if you have people on your team that are like, man, I'm just not moving and I don't know what's going on, start asking them, okay, how many no's did you get yesterday? And start asking those questions, because if they're not getting no's, chances are they're not putting in enough IPA. Okay. So start asking those questions to your team. Okay. How many no's did you get yesterday? How many no's did you get last week? How many no's have you been getting? Because if they've been getting a lot of no's, then they're really digging in and they're doing some IPA. And if they're not getting any yeses, now you can start digging into that. But now, they've been doing their work. But that's a good place for you to start, is like, Great. All right. So you've been getting 3 no's a day. Let's tackle verbiage or whatever and see what we can do to, move on from here. So, and then the last thing is to have a growth mindset over a goal mindset. And I know this sounds very odd. It threw me off the first time I heard about it too. So a growth mindset versus a goal mindset. I think sometimes we can get so hung up on the goal, right? So hung up on the goal and we're just like, okay, I want to rank gold this month. I'm set on ranking gold. I'm going to rank gold and whatever. And you started the month at 56 points and you end the month at 98 and you're just so bummed because you didn't hit gold. And y'all, that is devastating. Okay. I hear that. But having a growth mindset allows you to look, and now you can practice gratitude for how far you've come because you just set yourself up for an awesome month next month to hit gold and beyond. So having a growth mindset instead of a goal mindset, and on your team, start digging into rewarding action instead of rewarding results. That's kind of the difference between a growth mindset and a goal mindset. Okay. So if you're just constantly like going for goals and going for the throat all the time, that's going to leave a lot of people discouraged and not feeling like they're making progress. Where if you're going for growth, then we can celebrate action. We can celebrate progress. We can celebrate wins. We can celebrate forward movement. And as a whole, if you're just celebrating growth as a whole, your team has no choice but to move forward, and you have no choice but to rank up in the end. So anyways.
Well, that's all we have for y'all today. Hopefully our self-reflections here have, inspired you and maybe given you some tactical things that you can, take with you, to recognize these mindset traps that we sometimes can find ourselves in, and then how to kind of move past that and, make the changes necessary to move forward and to move the needle forward in your business. So we're just so thankful that you guys came on today, and I hope you all have a good night.
All right. Love you all. Good night.